Good day, and thank you for tuning in 3D, the Daily Divine Direction broadcast. For all of our new listeners and viewers who are tuning in for the very first time, I'm Pastor Pope, Senior Pastor of New Life Christian Center, located at 400 Hillcrest Avenue, Wilmington, Delaware, 19809. So if you are ever in our area, we invite you to come and worship with us. Service begins at 10 a.m. every Sunday morning at New Life Christian Center, at New Life Christian Center, 400 Hillcrest Avenue, Wilmington, Delaware, 19809. And as always, we are here with you in 3D, the Daily Divine Direction broadcast. Broadcasting live from the FijiWater.com sponsored studio, where you can discuss careers, finances, entrepreneurship. You can discuss marriage, divorce, raising children, blending families. You can discuss dating and relationships, whatever's in your heart, whatever's on your mind. God is concerned about that which concerns you. And that is the reason that we are here with you in 3D, the Daily Divine Direction broadcast, which is brought to you daily by Fiji Water, Earth's finest water. You may already know that Fiji water comes from Fiji. However, did you know that it is created by nature? It is untouched by man. It starts as a tropical rainfall which slowly filters through layers of volcanic rock, where the water collects in a natural, sustainable artesian aquifer, where it is bottled right at the source, free from human contact until you unscrew the blue cap. Fiji Water, Earth's finest water, will be delivered right to your front door when you subscribe for delivery, and you'll save money at FijiWater.com. This is not just Earth's finest, it's not just ordinary water, this is just Earth's finest water at FijiWater.com. And for those of you who are aware now, we are at New Life Food Source Pantry, our public charity. We have launched to accept vehicles of all types: cars, boats, trucks, vans, motorcycles, anything that has wheels and a motor. We are now accepting donations, which you will receive a tax deductible contribution. So you can go to cars-helping-charities.org/new-life-food-pantry-inc, and you will find our page for Cars Helping Charities. So we are now accepting all types of vehicle donations from any place in the U.S. of A. They will tow free of charge to you, no cost to you, and they will handle all of the title work, all of the registration, everything that needs to be transferred so that it can be a charitable donation to New Life Food Source Pantry, our public charity. So we're asking for all of your support. If you have a vehicle that you no longer have need of, we can give you a tax contribution report that will be provided to you immediately upon your donation of the vehicle. You'll receive it from Cars Helping Charity, but we've partnered with them to handle all of our back office, and we are just responsible for making certain that all of those who choose to support us are informed that this is a tax contribution, a tax deductible contribution to New Life Food Source Pantry. I also want to remind everyone that we are encouraging everyone to remain connected to us throughout the week on our internet radio station, WKAPFaith.com, where we play music 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. Okay, so you're never without us. Stay tuned in and stay connected with us. I know we're having a little technical difficulty today, but just know this: we're delighted that you're with us, that you've tuned in, and that you'll be with us throughout the day. And of course, I want to remind everyone, Friday is the 4th of July, so we will not be on the air on Friday. However, on Sunday, tune in for the Sunday sermon, New Life Christian Center, Pastor Pope, 10:45 a.m. we go live. But if you're in our area, come and worship with us at 10 a.m. Praise and worship begins, and we will have a glorious time on Sunday. So I'm going to get into a communication that came in from one of our listeners and viewers. You indicated that you were extremely attracted to someone who is extremely successful. You used that word extremely. I noticed it right away. You said you were extremely attracted to him. He's extremely successful. You said, however, after you started dating him, you found that you have nothing in common. And you want to know, do I think it can be successful? Listen, I really need to say this to you, and I want to make sure that you understand something. Your interest in him was that you were physically attracted to him, and you were attracted to him because he's extremely successful. So you focused on two areas that you thought would satisfy what you want. You didn't follow the revelation that I have provided more than once on the broadcast. You didn't seek out a man of God, you sought out a man who was successful, or you were looking for someone who was successful. And in that search, which is not your job, you also found someone that you were extremely attracted to. The relationship will not be successful because, first of all, he's not a man of God. And second of all, you went into this relationship for those two reasons. You don't have anything in common. And you found that out now. So now that you know you have nothing in common, how could you expect a relationship to be successful? You don't like any of the things that he likes. You don't enjoy any of the things he enjoys doing. So you would only be in the relationship for those two things that are beneficial to you. Everything else, you would find to be a problem. So you have to realize that the relationship is not going to be successful because there's no commonality. He enjoys living his life on his terms. He enjoys living his life a specific way. You, on the other hand, have a different lifestyle. So you can't expect the relationship to be successful because the reality is that you have nothing in common. So I'm saying this to you not because I don't think you deserve to have a good, healthy, and successful relationship. I'm saying this to you because you went into it for the wrong reason. And I've shared with all of our listeners and viewers something that would enhance the quality of life for everyone. And that is, if you make the decision to enter into a relationship with someone who is godly, whether you're male or female, here's the reality. Godly men and women are looking for one thing, and that is a good, there's God in the midst of that, good, healthy, and successful relationship. But one of the things I've said many times is that what you should do is, if someone's interested in you or you're interested in someone else, you invite one another to attend church with you for 3 consecutive Sundays. If work schedules don't permit and you have to do it every other Sunday, then instead of 3 weeks, it's going to take you 4 weeks. Pardon me, it's going to take you 6 weeks. I was picturing a month when I said that, but the reality is, if you enter into this search for compatibility through going to church and out to lunch 3 times, if one of you you're in the healthcare business, for example, and you have a Sunday schedule that doesn't permit, you may have to go every other week. But here's the reality. You need to attend church and go out to lunch. And then you can talk about the things that are important to each of you. You can talk about what you desire in life, what he desires in life, what are the things that each of you enjoy, and then over that time, you won't have wasted a lot of time and money doing things that are not productive. You will have a clear understanding of the potential for the relationship to be successful. Now, I'm not suggesting that you're going to see everything in 3 to 6 weeks. What I'm suggesting is you'll understand the state of mind, you'll understand the attitude, the behavior, the character, the diligence, the dedication, the spirit of excellence, whether it's present or whether it's not present. You'll understand their level of faith. You'll understand their thoughts of gratitude. You'll find out whether or not there's someone who's happy the majority of the time, or whether or not they spend most of the time dealing with anxiety and depression. You'll understand those things. You'll know if they have emotional intelligence. You'll understand if they have the joy of the Lord. You'll understand if they have the knowledge of Christ. You'll get to know all of those things. What's their level of progress in life? You'll get to know all of that in 3 to 6 weeks. You will not know that getting into a relationship and just starting to date someone, because they're only going to show you the best side of them. But now what's happened is you've entered into this relationship that is not going to be successful because it's not designed to be successful. You started out in this because you found him attractive. You found out he was extremely successful. You stopped right there. That was good enough for you. So that's all you can expect to get out of the relationship. Now, sure, will he take you out and show you a good time? Sure. But that's not going to lead to a long-term successful relationship. So, what I would say to you and to anyone else, if you find yourself in a relationship where 2 people have nothing in common, you need to cease wasting your time, because it's not going anywhere. And if you do make the decision to get out of that relationship, you will open the door for God to send the person that he has assigned for your life, which is what we all should be searching for. Men of God should be searching for, because remember, it's our job, men, to find a wife, because he who finds a wife finds a good thing and obtains favor of the Lord. This segment of the broadcast is brought to you by T-Mobile, America's largest and most reliable 5G provider at no extra charge. If you are not currently a T-Mobile customer, you may call or text on the T-Mobile call or text line at 267-992-1424. We will move you into our queue so that you may have the opportunity to become a T-Mobile customer and experience America's largest and most reliable 5G provider at no extra charge. Taxes and fees are included in your bill, and if you auto pay by attaching a credit card to your account, you will receive a discount on your monthly bill at T-Mobile, America's largest and most reliable 5G provider at no extra charge. I'm going to address another communication that came in from one of our listeners and viewers who indicated that you are contemplating starting your own business and you want to know how to ensure your success. Okay, so first let me say this. You have to make certain that the business you are seeking to start addresses a need in society. That's the very first step you have to take. But even before you take that step, you have to make certain that you have the right mentality to go into business. You have to make certain that and I'm getting ahead of where I started, but you have to make certain that you have the right mentality to go into business, because one thing that is going to be important is for you to know that you cannot go into business because you have a desire to have more free time for yourself. You cannot go into business because you think immediately you're just going to make a ton of money. You can't go into business because you think it's going to give you the flexibility to go on vacation and do what you want and, level up your lifestyle. That's not what you go into business to do. You go into business because, first of all, you believe you have something that addresses a need in society. Whether it's food, clothing, shelter, services, those are the things that address the needs in society. Now, I'm not talking about the fact if you're going to become an innovator and create a new airplane or a new automobile, or I'm not talking about being an innovator right now. I'm talking about just being an entrepreneur, being a business owner. Those are the categories, and if anyone thinks of anything else, please share it with me, but those are the categories that address the needs in society: food, clothing, shelter, and services, some type of service industry. If you know that what you have to offer society addresses those needs, then you've got potential to have a good business model, because you're addressing something society will need. Now, that doesn't imply that you can't go into business knowing you're going to have competition, because there's always going to be competition, even if competition pops up after you go into business. A Me Too. That happens. But you've got to know you're addressing the needs of society. That's the reason for going into business. And then once you've determined that you are addressing those needs, I'm going to take you down a different path about the mentality again. And that is that you have to be fully committed that that's going to become your life. You're not going to be successful in business if you go into business because you have something that addresses the needs of society and it does not become your life. In other words, you go into business, but you're running the business just to make enough money to support your lifestyle. That's not why you go into business, because it won't be successful. You may have something that is sustainable, but it's not successful. You're not maximizing your success. It has to become your life. In other words, the main thing has to be the main thing. You can diversify later, but you've got to make certain that it's always about work. It's always about business. That's what's on your mind constantly. From the time you awaken in the morning until the time you go to bed at night, it becomes your life. Your business doesn't become who you are or identify who you are. But what it does is it becomes your life worth living. That's That's the reality of business. And then you have to be committed to work that to its fullest every single day. You've got to be willing to not only allow it to become your life, but you have to be willing that every day you're getting something accomplished in your business. Whatever that might be, you're getting something accomplished in your business. And then the third thing is you have to make certain that you eliminate distractions. You can't even just reduce them. You have to eliminate the distractions. You have to don't focus on the noise. You can't get caught up on, what's happening in the culture. You can't focus on what's happening around you. Your focus has to be on the success of your business, the growth, the development. The development, the growth. You've got to know that it takes a very special personality and a very committed mentality to be an entrepreneur. Because people will go into business and get distracted with everything else and will not focus their attention on the business. They're focused on the benefits of the business. So I will encourage you, don't fall into that trap. If you need more information on starting your business, progressing, I'd be happy to take the time out to speak with you. I know you're not in our area and you're in a different time zone, but feel free to reach out. I'll be happy to share with you what I know personally about being an entrepreneur. And I certainly will pray for you that if you take the next step and step out in faith, and go into business, that your business will be successful. This segment of the broadcast is brought to you by Charles Tyrwhitt, located in London, the UK. They also have stores in New York, Chicago, Washington, D.C., and at the King of Prussia Mall in King of Prussia, Pennsylvania. So if you're in any of those areas, stop in at their retail stores. They have everything a man could possibly need. And The White Company, located in London, the UK. They also have a store on Fifth Avenue in New York. So if you're in New York, stop in at their retail store. They have everything you could possibly need. And if you're not in any of those areas, you can order from Charles Tyrwhitt at ctshirts.com and The White Company at thewhitecompany.com. They will both ship and deliver right to your front door in an appropriate period of time. I'm going to address another communication that came in from one of our listeners and viewers who indicated that you are 38 years of age. You said you have a great career. You're a homeowner. You've never been married. You have no children. You said you have been dating, however, no man has entered into a serious relationship with you. And you want to know, how do you get that to change? So here's a problem that you're having. At 38, you are still in a place where what you're posting online let me rephrase it, what you're posting in social media is not conducive for you attracting the right type of man. So what I will suggest to you is scrub your social media. People who have become your friends that are not doing things that are appropriate in society, they're acceptable in society but not appropriate, disconnect from them. What happens, and I don't know if women and men, but particularly women, when a man approaches you and you begin to dialogue, how many times does a man ask you, oh, do you have Instagram, TikTok, I don't know what the latest social media is, but how many times does a man ask you for that? If he's asked you for that, he's going to look at it. to see what you have to offer. He's going to look at it to see what your behavior is like. He's going to look at it to see if you're ratchet. He's going to look at it to see whether or not you are, what are your personal activities like? He's going to look at that. He's going to look at the way you present yourself on social media, and he's going to make a decision whether or not you are relationship material or if you are a good time girl. He's going to look at your social media. If he's someone who just wants to play. You've got to realize that what you post in society, the way you present yourself in society, is going to be a determining factor of what a man's interest is. And even though you're 38, you've got a great career, you're a homeowner, you've never been married, have no children, men are going to look at that and wonder why you are not in a relationship. So the reason no men have entered into a serious relationship with you is because you're not a serious person. Just because you own a home, but you own a home that your parents left you. So your parents unfortunately passed at an early age, and that's what you have a home now. But you've never been married, which means you've never really been in a serious relationship. Because marriage is serious. It's not a job. I keep telling people that. You only work to build a great quality of life together, but it's not a job. And you have no children, so you haven't been responsible for anybody else other than yourself. But then when they go on your social media, what do they see? So if all they see is you hanging out with your girlfriends and partying all the time, you're a good time girl. If they see you attending charity events, or they see you not posting a lot of information online, but just maybe, a vacation that you took, how you present yourself in that vacation is going to make a difference to men. What type of events you are attending is going to make a difference to men. How serious they're going to be with you, how serious they're going to take you. And at 38, if you are still doing the things you were doing at 28, they're not going to take you serious, which means they're not going to enter into a serious relationship with you. Oh, they'll date you. Some will play with you, but they're not going to be serious because you're not serious. So you've got to change some things. And this is happening a lot in our society to a lot of women and men. But here's the reality. You're 38. And you want a serious relationship now. But the things you're doing and you've done are not conducive for someone choosing to be serious with you. So scrub out your social media. Spend less time posting on social media. Spend less time doing the things you've been doing and posting them, because that will create a problem if you really want to be in a serious relationship. Because a serious-minded man is looking for someone who he can be serious with, which means he's looking to make you a wife, not a girlfriend. Today's Daily Divine Direction has been brought to you by Fiji Water. A taste of paradise will be delivered right to your front door when you subscribe for delivery, and you'll save money at FijiWater.com. May God bless you today. May God keep his face turned towards you. May God give you peace That surpasses all understanding. Remember, as I announced at the beginning of the broadcast, we are now